Feeling? Okay, we're done. So, good morning, everybody. It's Monday, Labor Day. So, nice holiday class here. So, everybody get comfortable. It's a gentle yoga for those of you who are just tuning in. So, if you can't hear me, maybe send me a quick little message, and I'll be looking here for it. And someone is on and can hear. Great. So get comfortable. If you're in your chair, just make sure your feet are hip distance apart and parallel. And if you're on the floor, sit however feels good. Long, stretched legs if you want, on a blanket. Cross your legs if that's better. And then just close your eyes and lengthen up through the top of your head now. Really feel that sense of finding space in your spine. Sitting bones equally into the surface you're sitting on. And then just breathe in and out through your nose easily. Feeling your belly expand as you breathe in. And we'll release our arms on out beside us here now. And if you're on the floor, lightly touching the ground there with your fingertips. And we'll inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And exhale our hands right down together in front of our hearts. And reversing, we'll inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms on back out and down. And now let's move a little bit with the breath. So as you exhale, let yourself come forward, maybe just a little bit, maybe more depending on you. And let your inhales bring you back up. So it'll be different for everyone. The length of your breaths are different. So you may not be coming forward and back at the same time. Just let your breath lead you forward with your exhales and your inhales bringing you back up. See if you can think about the back of your head staying in line with your spine. So you're not lifting your chin up and tensing up the back of the neck, but you feel that length there. Good. And the next time you come forward, let yourself stay forward. Now, if you're in your chair, you might want to separate your feet and let your elbows rest there above your knees. On the floor, you can use your hands to support you. You can walk further out, forward if you want. Same thing in the chair. If you want to bring your hands down towards your ankles or the floor, top of your feet, do. If you can let your head hang, if it doesn't put too much pressure in your back, let your head hang. Release your neck and let go through your face. Imagine letting your face soften, relax, all around your mouth, all around your eyes. And then we're going to slowly rise up. So use your hands to help you however you need. Coming on back up. Good. Bringing your feet a little closer together if you're in your chair. So if you're on the floor, stretch your right leg out and bring your left foot over to the outside of that leg somewhere. If you're in your chair, you're just going to cross your thigh over your thigh, like woman cross-legged, all right? And then lengthen up as you inhale here. And on the exhale, bring your left hand behind you as you come on around into a twist. So take your time. You know, your hand can stay on your knee. You can let the hand or the arm come across to the outside. It really depends on where your knee is. So take your time, lengthen up, feel the outside of that left hip a little bit there, engage your low belly. One more inhale. And let your exhale draw you on back into center. And we're going to uncross the legs. We're going to go the other side. So that left leg would stretch long, and you could bring your right foot to the outside, either low or high. Inhaling here. And on the exhale, bring your right hand around behind you and let yourself come into that twist there. Lengthening up through the top of your head. Think of your chin being parallel to the floor. If you're finding it's hard to sit up if you're on the floor, you're leaning back, maybe bringing the foot down a little more towards your calf or your ankle rather than having the foot up high might help you be able to sit up a little taller. So inhaling here. And as you exhale, use your belly to bring you on back around into center and uncross your legs. If you started cross-legged on the floor, switch to cross your legs and bring your other leg in front. We'll bring our arms on out beside us. And let's inhale the right arm all the way out and up overhead. Now turn your palm up. Bend your elbow a little bit. So your fingertips are facing towards the left there. And then press up into the heel of your hand and then come over a little bit into side stretch. So you can have your hand on the floor. You can hold on to your chair leg, or you can put your hand in your lap if you want. Really breathing into that right side. You're stretching. And then we'll slowly come up. We're going to switch arms. So as the right arm comes down, let the left arm float on up. Bend the elbow. Let the palm of the hand face up, and then press up into that heel of your hand and let yourself come over into side stretch. Breathing into your left side there. Again, your hand can give you support however you need. Feel space between the ribs. Good, and then we'll come on back up. We'll lower the arms on down. And let's inhale both arms now all the way out and up overhead. And let our exhale bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. And now unfold your arms. If you're in your chair, you might need to scoot a little forward. Let's clasp our hands behind us. Interlace your fingers. And then just draw your hands over towards the right. If you can rest your left forearm on your low back, do. And squeeze your palms towards each other and let your left ear tilt towards your left shoulder. So just release here through the neck. Let it feel good. The side of the neck, release. Keep squeezing your hands together if you can get them there. Now on the next exhale, bring your chin forward down towards your chest. Let your hands come back to center. Take a breath there with the head bowed and released. And then we'll just go the other way. So the hands are going to go to the left. Let that right forearm be on your low back. Press your palms together and let your right ear come towards your right shoulder. And let it feel really good to release that left side of the neck. Keep squeezing gently the palms together there. And then we'll come on back into center. Let the head come down, the hands come center. Bring your gaze on back forward. And now when you inhale, see if you can let your hands come a little away from you back there and your arms. And when you exhale, let them come back down. It might be like an inch, right, depending on your shoulders. Or it might be farther, depending on you. So inhaling, letting the hands and the arms come away a little bit. And on the exhale, they come back down. So just one or two more of those, letting yourself release across your chest here. And then we'll release. Bring the hands out beside us and let your hands circle around. Doesn't matter how. Circle one direction and then stop and go the other. And then shake your hands out a little bit. Open and close your hands a bit. We're going to come on around towards our hands and knees from here. So you know, not being on your knees isn't a good idea. Don't do it. If you need a blanket underneath your knees, do. Have one. Take your time. Let yourself get situated. Hands underneath your shoulders, feet or knees underneath your hips. If you need to be on fists, right? So let yourself start to move through your cat-cows, really flowing with the breath here. Letting your exhales draw the navel towards the spine, feel the tailbone drop down, and let your inhale send the tailbone back and up. So finish off the one you're on. But now, once you come back to neutral spine, bring your knees or your feet a little closer together, because we're actually going to, as we exhale, bring our right knee in towards our face, round up into our back. And when we inhale, we're going to send that leg back behind us. And it doesn't have to be high, right? So if you're on your feet, you can still do this. Exhale, drawing your knee in towards you a little bit. And then when you inhale, send that right leg back long. And we'll do it one more time. Exhale, drawing the knee in, rounding up into your back. And on the inhale, reaching back into a long leg, toes pointing down. And then we'll bring that knee down. We're going to do the other side. Take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, draw the left knee in towards your nose there. Inhale, stretch it back long. And then again, exhale, bringing that knee in, rounding up into your back. And on the inhale, stretching back, flex through that left foot there. And then one more time, exhaling, drawing the knee in. And as you inhale, reach back. And then bring your knee on back down. And do another couple of cat-cows now. You might want to separate your feet or your knees a little more. And let yourself come back into doing a couple more cat-cows, evening everything out here. And then we'll finish off. And we're going to step forward with our left foot and find a lunge. So whether you decide to use your blocks or your chair or the floor for your lunge, take your time. Get yourself there in where you know that you've got that right heel. Even if you have to look at it to make sure, reaching directly behind your foot. And you're bent no farther forward than your ankle here in your left knee. And then just enjoy. Find your whole body here. Press the feet a little away from each other. Find that length through the back of the body. And then we're going to switch to the other leg. So however you need to go to the other side. Whether you like to step forward or backward, doesn't matter. Press those feet away from each other now. Really, again, feel that length through the back body. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Beautiful. And we're going to switch again. So take your time here. And again, as you press the feet away from each other, if you feel like putting your left hand up on that front thigh, you can. Let yourself just keep the hand down if you need. And then we're going to switch again. So again, once you feel really stable in your lunge, if you want to lift up your right hand, you can. You can bring it to your thigh. You can bring your forearm to your thigh if you'd rather. Good. And then let's step forward and come into standing forward bend. Feet hips distance apart and parallel. And you know you can use whatever support you need. Hands can be on the blocks. You can release down to hands on the chair or put your elbows above your knees. Or you can let your hands hang, let your arms hang, let your head release if you can. It doesn't matter how deeply bent your knees are. Just allow the pose, the forward of your torso here, this release for the back of the legs just happens naturally. And then just be with your breath. Watch your breaths fully and deeply in and out. And then let's bend our knees a little more deeply. Press equally into your feet. Rise on up to standing. And we'll inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our heart. So take time here. Walk a little bit in place in your mountain pose. So just lift one foot at a time like you're walking. And look at your feet. Make sure you're not starting to slightly turn one foot out more than the other. You're trying to be pretty parallel, very even, right? And then go ahead and come back to center. Bend both your knees. Let your hands come to meet at your chest. Lift your elbows up for a second so you feel the hands pressing a little more together. You feel your wrists. And then just let the elbows soften down. Feel the thumbs coming in towards the breastbone, right where they kind of want to plug in there. And then bring your gaze out, whether your eyes are opened or closed. Feel the space around you. Let yourself imagine for a couple of breaths that you're breathing in and out through every pore of your skin. So that the body feels very equalized, really, very balanced. And as we release our arms now down beside us, we'll inhale both arms up into a wide open V. Turn your palms towards each other, and then let your pinkies turn just a little more towards each other as well. Lift the gaze up if you're comfortable to do that. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll bend the knees and come forward into our standing forward bend. Let your next inhale help you find a nice flat back wherever you want your hands to go. And we'll step the right foot back and come into lunge. Pressing the feet away from each other, drawing your shoulders down. Inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. So whether your hands are on a chair, which would mean your heels are on the ground and you've got your spine really lengthened out, bending the knees if you need. Same thing if your hands are on the blocks, any height. But you can maybe even be back a little bit more with your heels hovering. On the floor, you're more like an upside down V. Heels hovering slightly off the mat. Next inhale, we'll come on out towards a plank. Engage your belly here. Be strong. Feel your sitting bones reaching for your heels. You can do a little push-up if you want. And then we'll come on back into down dog. So reaching back equally through those sitting bones. Elbows hugging towards each other. Think of your head being in line with your spine. So you're not looking up between your hands, but maybe looking back towards your feet a little. And then we'll bring our right foot forward to find lunge. You can put the left knee down if you need to get there. And then we'll come on back forward into standing forward bend with our feet hips distance apart and parallel. And just be mindful. It's your back, and you know it better than anybody else. So if you feel you need support, use support of whatever kind you need. If you like bringing your hands to your elbows and that feels like a release, you can let your hands just gently come to the elbows. And let yourself be with your breath. Feel those full, deep breaths. Letting the inhales and exhales feel equally important, which helps to even them out in length. And we'll release our hands now to our hips. We're going to bend our knees and rise up and inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Let's unfold our arms, bring our hands behind us, interlace your fingers, clasp your hands. For a second, squeeze your palms. Your elbows will want to bend, right? And let them bend so you can squeeze your palms together there. So feel that sense of opening across the chest. And then go ahead and release. Let the palms come apart. Take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, bend your knees and come on forward. Now, you may want to stay up pretty high. You may decide to get about parallel to the floor with a flat back where you have a tabletop back. Or you may want to go all the way forward over your legs. That's up to you, and you know your back, right? If you can bring your arms at all off your back, do. You may even want to let them come just an inch, a little bit away from your back. You may want to let the arms come forward and let the hands reach straight up towards the ceiling, maybe even more forward. One more nice full breath. And then we'll release our hands on down. Let your next inhale help you find that long, flat back wherever you want your hands to be. And this time, left foot comes back into lunge. Press the feet away from each other. Draw your shoulders down. Good. Now let's come on into downward facing dog pose. So take your time here in your dog. Walk if you need to. You know that. Finding the place for your shoulders. So whether you want your hands to be on the floor or on the blocks of the chair, you've got to find what feels good for your shoulders. And focus on lengthening out through the spine here now. And on your next inhale, come on out towards a plank. Again, nice and strong. Try not to drop in your belly. Keep that sense of reaching your sitting bones down towards your heels. You can bend your elbows if you want. Do a little push-up or two. And then we'll come on back into down dog. This time we'll bring the left foot forward to find lunge. And again, you can put your right knee down if you need to. Have your hands on blocks or the chair. or the floor. And then we'll come on back into standing forward bend. Right to your breaths. Accepting those breaths in and out through your nose. Imagine the breath is coming equally in and out through both sides of your nose. Good. We'll bring our hands up to our hips, bend our knees, rise on up. We're going to inhale the arms up overhead. Keep your arms up overhead. Turn your palms to face each other. Pinkies turning in a little bit. And then just sit back in a little chair pose. So your body comes a little forward. Totally up to you. It might be just a little bit, right? Feeling your thighs. Imagine your inner thighs melting down towards the ground. If you want to go lower, you can go a little bit lower with your weight shifting more towards your heels. Feeling your thighs and your hips. We're going to press into our feet and rise up. As you inhale, if you want to look up, you can. And on the exhale, we'll bend the knees and come on forward into standing forward bend. Let your next inhale help you find that flat back. And we're going to walk into down dog from here. So place your hands where you like, the surface you like to use, the height you like to be. Walk your dog a little bit. Let your head turn a little side to side as you walk a little in your dog. Good. And then come back to your full dog. Let your next inhale bring you out to plank. Now you can do little push-ups. You can stay in your plank for core strength here. You can do a back bend if you choose. You can let yourself come either into an up dog or a cobra or a sphinx on your forearms or no back bend at all. And then we'll come on back again into down dog. So take your time again, walk a little bit, and let your head just turn easily side to side. And then finish off back to your full dog at center, and we'll do that same thing. Come on out to that plank. And again, you decide if a back bend is a good idea for you or not. And then we'll make our way back again into downward facing dog pose. Good. Let's bring our left foot forward to come into lunge. And then we'll come on back into standing forward bend. Easy. Full deep breath. Now really feel the weight of your head if you can. If you're okay to hold your elbows, do. If not, use support under your hands. Full deep breaths. Feel the ribs expanding in all directions as you inhale. And then let's bring our hands up to our backs. Interlace your fingers back there on your low back. Press into your feet and rise straight on up to standing. Now once you get up here, keep the hands kind of sliding down to where you feel this sense of as the hands slide down as far as they can go, you feel space between your ears and your shoulders. Now you've got your hands right there where you can tell what your pelvis is doing. So make sure you're not tucking your tailbone forward, which rounds the upper body, right? Think about feeling the tailbone reaching down towards between your heels, maybe even a little behind your heels. It depends on you, really. But then you can feel really open across your chest. You have that sense of not being concave here in the chest, but feeling nice and open. And then release your hands. Let's just softly bend your elbows and let your hands come right to meet in front of your chest, in front of your heart. And just enjoy a couple of breaths, quieting breaths in your mountain pose. Finding that quiet strength of simply standing. Again, maybe imagining you're breathing in and out through every pore of your skin all at the same time. And then we'll go ahead and release, unfold our arms, shake out a little bit, move around if you need to, walk around if you need. And we're going to come into some warrior poses. So if you are using a chair, you might want to turn it around. If you have a don't have a chair but are using blocks, make sure you have them right there to the front of your mat. We're going to step our right foot back and our left foot forward for Warrior Two. So that right foot is about parallel to the back edge of our mat. And bend that front knee. Find that alignment here of that front knee. Make sure it's not tracking inward. Good. And then we'll just float our arms on straight on out, a little bit higher than your shoulders. Let your shoulders melt down. And as you now start to reach out through the fingertips and you look out over the top of the left hand, you can just feel yourself fully in the pose here. So feet pressing gently away from each other, fingertips reaching away from the midline, feeling as balanced as you can feel between the right and the left side of the body and the front and the back of your body. Good. We're going to bring the right hand right down to our right hip. Now, keep your left knee bent and bring your left hand down, maybe to the chair back. Maybe you want to go a little lower to put your hand on the seat of a chair. Or maybe you want to put your hand on a block. Now, this block, you have one on the inside and the outside. You can put your hand on either side because we're going to work our way into triangle from here. So we're going to straighten that front knee out, right? Both legs are now straight. Keep looking down at your left foot for a second. So make sure you're not rolling to the outside of that foot. And then start to turn to look forward. Look right forward of yourself. And then you can decide if you want to add that top arm straight up from your shoulder in your triangle pose. Thighs are lifting up towards the hips. Feet are equal in the floor. 3 points of the triangle right there, your top hand or your top shoulder and your 2 feet. And we're going to bend that left knee and we're going to come back into Warrior Two. Now that takes a lot of core strength just to bring yourself right on back up into Warrior Two, looking out over the top of that left hand. Good. Bringing the hands down. We're going to turn our feet more parallel. You may want to get a block. Depends on you. Come on forward into a wide-legged forward bend. Once you get your hands grounded, go ahead and bend a knee at a time. Now, you're attempting to get your feet pretty parallel, but we're all different, right? So if you feel better to turn your toes out a little bit, do. Or in a little bit so that you're a little more pigeon-toed, which will protect the hamstring attachments. Come on back into center. Let both your knees bend, right? And let your hands walk out, maybe to be on a block, maybe to be on the floor, so your back is long. We're going to add a little twist. So the left hand comes a little more to the midline of the body, right hand up to the low back, and roll your right shoulder up. Now, if you want to straighten your legs out, you can. Press your feet gently away from each other. Let yourself find that twist in the middle of the back. You're very level there at your sacrum. Beautiful. And then we'll bring that right hand down, put it more to the midline. Left hand comes up, and let that left shoulder roll up if you can. Again, pressing the feet away from each other. You can come into straighter legs if you want. Nice and level there at the sacrum. Good. And then we'll come on back down with our hand. Now, if you're able to walk your hands back more towards between your feet, do. If that bothers your back, you may instead want to put your elbows above your knees or support yourself forward on your block, right, rather than hands walking back. So find what feels okay for your back, your hips. Come into your breath. Let yourself be with your breaths all the way through, so keeping your awareness on your breaths all the way through. Good. One more breath. And we're going to slowly walk our hands back forward. And then to come up, you decide if you need your feet to come together a little more before you rise on up. Take your time to bring your feet together once you're there. Walk around a little bit if you need to, right? So let yourself, if you need, walk around. Take your time to work through your feet. And we're going to come to the other side, stepping that left foot back into Warrior Two. So again, having your blocks handy there if you know you liked them. Having your chair so that you have it if you need it for your triangle. Line your heels up and get that alignment of that front knee. Remember, you do not want that knee going out beyond your toes. a lot of pressure in the knee here. So feeling really good and strong, rising the arms on up and out and bringing your gaze out over the top of that right hand. Feel the feet pressing gently away from each other. Imagine you're looking out beyond the wall. See if you can get this sense of like you're extending yourself beyond the walls even. As wide as you can be. And then bring your left hand on down to your left hip. Keep your right knee bent to bring your right hand down whatever height you want to be. So maybe to the chair, maybe to a block or 2 blocks, you know. You can stack blocks up for triangle pose. So take your time. Let yourself start to look at your right foot as you straighten your right knee. And take time to feel that right foot not rolling. Both legs are now straight. Thighs are engaging up towards the hips. You can turn to look towards the front here now. And in your triangle, you can decide if lifting that left arm straight up from your shoulder feels like a good idea to your shoulder. Thighs are engaging up towards the hips, lengthening your torso out over that front leg. One more breath. And then we'll bend that front knee again. We're going to come back to Warrior Two. Remember, use your core strength as you press the feet away from each other, getting yourself back up. And then we'll bring our hands to our hips. And again, we're going to turn our feet more parallel, and we're going to make our way forward. So grab block or blocks if you need. Let yourself this time go ahead and bend a knee at a time. And then come back into feeling centered between your legs here, between your feet. Either both knees equally bent or straight. And let's walk our hands over towards the right. You can go as far as you want. You can hold on to the outside if you want of your right foot there. Or you can have your hands in front of you. And then bring your left hand up to your left hip. And see if you can add a little rolling up of that right shoulder. And then we'll bring the hand back down. We're going to walk back through center. And we're going to walk towards the left. Again, you have the block if you want. Stay out in front of your foot as far as you need to be, or go towards it if you like. And then bring your left hand up onto your hip. If it feels good to roll your shoulder up, you can add that bit of a twist. And then come on back down. We're going to walk on back into center. And again, take your time. And again, you know, if stacking blocks up and having your forearms on blocks in this wide-legged forward bend helps you to release better, then do that. You can always put your head on blocks as well. Or you can walk your hands back so that you have your hands between your feet or even behind you. And then feel those breaths now. Feel the ribs expand on your inhales. Inhales and exhales equally important. And then we're going to slowly again walk our hands back out so we can get up to standing however you choose. Feet a little closer together first if you need before you rise up. And then again, move through your feet. If you need to circle your ankles around or turn to the tops of your toes, do. And we're going to come into Warrior One this time. So again, get your blocks handy at the front of you. If you're using your chair, you might want the back of it around to face you. And we'll step the right foot back now, drawing our shoulders around square. Let yourself just release here as you bend that front knee. Look down. Let your neck release as you look down. Feel that right foot fully in the floor where you feel comfortable to turn out of that back foot. Maybe 20, maybe 30 degrees. Think of that inner right thigh reaching backwards and the inner left thigh dropping down. And then bring your arms out beside you. Turn your palms forward. Feel as open as you can across your chest. Feel like your arms are growing out of your back. Your shoulders are coming down away from your ears. Good. And we're going to inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, we're going to lower them down. Now, you can bring them all the way to touch your fingertips together up there if you want. So inhale, rising the arms up. You can look up if you choose. Exhale, lowering the arms on down. One more time. Inhale, rising those arms on up. See if you can clasp your hands, send your palms up, and press up into the heels of the hands here a little bit. So you're actually turning your palms up towards the ceiling. Bend your elbows a little bit, pressing up into the heels of the hands. You can look up if you choose. If you need to keep your arms forward, keep your arms forward of your ears, right? One more breath. And then release your arms. Straighten your front knee out now. Now you're trying to get your hips around square for pyramid. Bring your hands behind you. And you can just clasp your hands lightly. You can hold a wrist if you'd rather. Get really comfortable back there with your hands. And then start to come forward, really feeling the thighs lifting upward. Both legs are staying straight. You may only become a little bit far forward. So don't force it. You don't want to lose control. You want to keep those thighs engaging upward. Imagine your right hip pointer bone drawing towards your left one. Now, when you get ready to put your hands down, go ahead and bring your hands on down to whatever surface you want to use. And you might need to readjust your feet once you get your hands down. You might feel like you want to get shorter or longer in your pyramid pose. Thighs are engaging up, remember. You can fold all the way forward over that leg if it feels good to do that. Keeping your hands on blocks or bringing your hands down lower if you want. Back heel is still fully on the floor. Turned inward just a little bit, 20 or 30 degrees. One more breath. And then bring your hands back. We're going to find a full lunge here now. So now we're going to release that right foot so the heel is directly behind your foot. And we're going to add a twist. Bringing that left hand to the left hip. We'll roll that shoulder on up. You can keep your hand on your low back or on your hip if your shoulder doesn't even want to roll up there. Or you can stretch your arm up, straight up from your shoulder in your twist here. Even looking up if you want, towards your hand. One more breath. And then we'll release. We're going to come down. We're going to step forward and get our feet right underneath us. Bend both your knees equally. Let yourself imagine your belly coming onto your thighs. Try to get it there if you can. And then we'll bend our knees and press equally into our feet and rise on up. Let's inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And then unwind the arms, shake out a little bit here, and we're going to do the other side. So this time it'll be the left foot that steps back. So take your time. Again, get your blocks handy there if you know you like them. If you've got your chair there, it kind of keeps you turned square to the front of your mat. Shoulders are square. Don't force the hips, but depending on the length of your stance, your hips might be pretty square too. Let's release our arms out beside us. Turn your palms forward. Again, feel that sense of the shoulders. You're reaching down through the fingertips. Shoulders away from your ears. And we'll inhale the arms all the way out and up. Again, you can touch the fingertips or not. Exhale, lowering the arms on back down. And again, inhaling, rising those arms up. And on the exhale, letting the arms release on down. And inhaling the arms up. This time, once you get your arms up, clasp your hands, turn your hands over, press up into the heels of the hands. Come forward if your shoulders need you to with your arms. If you can let them come straight up above your head, that's fine. You can even look up if you choose. Let's feel nice and open here, even in the front and the back of your body. One more breath. And then we're going to release our arms on down. Bring your hands behind you. And we're straightening that front knee out. Now you're trying to get your hips pretty square. If you have to adjust your feet a little bit, do. Hands are behind you. We're going to start to come forward, even if it's an inch. Thighs are engaging up towards the hips. Letting yourself come forward for pyramid pose. Feel equal through the sides of your body. Imagine drawing your left hip pointer bone towards your right. And lowering the hands down to whatever height you want to be. Once you get your hands down, if you need to adjust to shorter or longer stance, do. That back foot is now still on the floor. Heel turned in slightly. Thighs are engaging up towards the hips. You can fold over the front leg, or you can stay up as high as you want to be. Thighs are engaging upward so that you're engaging all the muscles around your knees. And you're protecting your hamstrings as well. One more full deep breath. And then we're going to bring the hands back to find lunge, remember. So reaching now that left heel directly behind your foot, and it's reaching directly back, getting everything you can out of your lunge. And then adding the right hand on up to the right hip and turning into your twist. So hand can, again, stay right there on your low back or on your hip. Or you can stretch the arm up if you choose. You can even turn to look up if you want to do that. So take your time. Good. And then we'll bring our hand on back down and let yourself step forward and come on into your standing forward bend. And really let go here. Whatever you need to do. Remember, hands can be wherever you need. Elbows above the knees if you need support. Let your head nod or shake a little bit. Full deep breaths. Let the breaths even out very naturally. And then we'll bring our hands up to our hips. We're going to bend our knees and rise up. And we'll inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Coming into mountain pose here now. So just let it feel good to feel very equal between your feet. If you need to shift around a little bit, do. Let your gaze, whether your eyes are opened or closed, come on out. Again, like you're looking out beyond the wall, out towards the horizon. And then we'll release our arms on down. Shake out a little bit. Move around however you need to. And we're going to bring our mats to a wall. So you're good there. And you're good there. You guys are already in, and you're already in too. So let's come in to bringing our right hand towards the wall. If you're home, you can use anything. You can use a wall. You can use a kitchen counter. So, find what works for you, something that you have there handy. And coming into a little tree pose. So shifting your weight to your right foot, bringing your left foot up either to the inside of your calf, below your knee, or up above your knee, where you're not pushing your foot into the inside of your knee, right? So remember, actually, I have to be honest, oftentimes having the foot lower is harder than bringing the foot up to the inner thigh. But some of our hips, won't allow the foot to come up this high. So even if it does, sometimes practicing low is really a fun experience. So do what you can. Take your time. Bring your gaze to where you feel like you can look. And hands, if possible, come to your heart. If that's not possible, keep your right hand on the wall. And if you have to put your foot down and kind of readjust, feel that lift through the front of the right hip there. See if you can bring the arms up overhead. And if you have to hold on to do that, do. Right? Put your hand back to the wall to do it, and then let yourself try to experiment with releasing fingertips off the wall. And then put your right hand back on the wall. Send your left knee straight down and flex your left foot behind you now. Now you can reach back with your hand and get hold of the top of your foot if you can reach it. Press your foot into your hand. See if you can maybe float your right arm up again and balance right there. And if you want to come a little forward with your torso and back with your knee, you can put your hand to the wall to do that if you want, or you can balance. Just make sure you're not overdoing it. Bend that right knee a little bit if you feel like you're locking that knee. And then we'll come on back. We're going to release. Take care of that leg you were standing on because we're turning right around. And actually, the biggest release for that leg you're standing on is to come into tree on the other side. So Bringing that right foot into the inside of the calf or up above your knee. Hips are staying square to that wall you're looking at. So find your focus on a point where it's kind of easy to think of bringing your hands to your heart. And if you're like, well, no, that's not so easy, and you need to put your foot down, you can always keep your toes on the floor even and put your heel onto the inside of your ankle. And then if you can rise your arms up overhead, again, hold on to the wall if you need to do that. Feel the foot gently coming into the inside of your leg, the inside of your leg coming back into your foot. And then we're going to bring that right knee down. And again, flex the foot, heel is behind you. See if you can balance there with that left arm up. You don't have to. You can bring your hand onto the foot if you can reach it. And then again, if you decide you want to bring the knee behind you, letting yourself come forward a little bit. You can always put your hand on the wall to do that too. Or not hold the foot and just try a little bit, playing a little bit with coming forward, but hold on if you need, right? Good. And then we're going to come on up. Turn back to the wall and just sit back at the wall. Let your feet be parallel, a little wider than hips distance. Not much, just a little bit. And then just bend your knees. Let yourself go as low as you want, but remember, you got to get back up. So I wouldn't suggest going too low. Let yourself just enjoy feeling your inner thighs melting down. And just breathe. Good. And now we're going to come on away from the wall, and we're going to make our way down to our bellies on the floor. So come on down and let yourself just reach into long legs for a second. Bring your hands under your head to make a little pillow if you can. Rest your forehead on your hands, or if you have to turn your head to the side because that's better, do it. And breathe into your low back here. Let yourself feel the breath coming into your low back. See about letting your legs relax, right? All the way up into your hips. And then we'll release arms down alongside us here now. And keep your head down on the ground. And on your next inhale, let just your hands come up off the floor. The palms are still facing down. Reach back through your fingertips. And then on your next exhale, let the hands come back down. Now on your next inhale, let your legs try to float up, both of them, but keep your hands and your head down. And then as you exhale, let your legs come back down. And now on the inhale, let just your head and your chest float up a little bit. Here you are. And then we'll release back down. So those were all parts of locust pose. On your next inhale, let every bit of that rise up, reaching fingertips and toes back towards the wall behind you. Strengthening the back here. Good. One more breath. And then bring your arms up under you. Come on to elbows underneath the shoulders. Interlace your fingers, clasp your hands, and come up into a forearm half plank where you're on the flesh above your knees. Or put your toes down and lift your knees up if you want to do a full plank. So finding that zip up of the belly, zipping up pubic bone to belly button, elbows hugging in towards each other. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to release, and we're going to come down. We're going to stretch our right arm overhead, and we're going to roll onto our right side. So once you're on your right side here now, pretend like you're in mountain pose. Your feet are right underneath your hips. You can keep your left hand on the floor, or you can put your left hand up on your hip if you feel steady enough, right? By flexing that bottom right foot and pressing the outside of the pinky toe down into the floor, you might get a little more stable. And then just let this left foot come up. Put it on the floor in front of your right leg somewhere, maybe below your knee, maybe above your knee. That is totally up to you. But let yourself imagine that the knee is reaching upward towards the ceiling and your pelvis is coming forward a little bit. So it should feel pretty good. It's a release for the hip. Now, if you can, go ahead and come into like you're doing tree pose. Put that left foot all the way into the inside of the right one, so there's a little more balance going on. You can keep your hand on your hip. You can even stretch that left arm up if you want. Have the arm stretched up like we did when we were standing in tree. Good. Now, some of you may want to go a little in towards your left shoulder, or even extend that leg up long, right? Holding on either in front of or behind that leg. That is totally optional. You don't need to do it. Heel rotates forward if you're doing that. And then we're going to bend the knee, bring the foot back for like a tree. Now, this is the tricky part. We're going to roll to our belly, but we're going to leave this left knee bent. And we're going to let the knee kind of come out beside us. Make a pillow with your hands and put your right cheek on your hands here. Think about that left knee coming towards your left elbow. And it should feel like a huge relief. It's like if you lay on your belly to sleep. So it should feel like you can just breathe into the left hip a little bit here. Good. One more breath. And then release. Come on back down. We're going to come back onto our forearms and again come into either that half forearm plank or a full one. So it's up to you. You can put your feet down. You can lift up. That depends on you. Come to where you can be. And then we're going to come on down. We're going to stretch our left arm long and we're going to roll to our left side. So here we are on our sides. We're standing up in tree pose. If you can put your right hand onto your hip, flex that left foot, press into the outside edge of it, and then bring the right foot up to put it on the floor in front of your left knee. It can be below your knee, or it can be above. Think of the knee reaching upward and your pelvis kind of coming forward a little bit. Just let that natural hip opening happen. Good. And then we're going to bring the foot, like we're doing tree, to the inside of the leg, somewhere above or below the knee. Remember, if you want to stretch your arms up overhead, you can. If that feels good, pressing into the outside edge of that left foot down there. And then again, right hand can draw the right knee more in towards your right shoulder. Whether you extend that leg up or not, totally up to you. Remember, you can keep it bent. You can keep the knee bent and just release that way. You can straighten the leg up. You can hold wherever you choose. You can hold your big toe, or you can hold the foot or the ankle or the outside or inside of the leg. Rotate the heel forward. Good. Bring the foot on back down for like you're doing tree pose again. And now remember, to roll to your belly, you kind of put your right hand out there like you're supporting yourself. Let the knee just come on down. Bring your hands to stack and just turn to look over towards your right elbow. Let yourself release there. Breathe into your right hip. Good. One more breath here. And now, we're going to just let that leg come long, and we're going to roll onto our backs. You can just let yourself be right where you are. Roll onto your back. We're actually going to need our strap, though. Sorry, I should have said that before we got all down, but see if you can get your strap on over right beside you. And then come on down. Bring your feet onto the floor. Let your knees release a little bit side to side. Bring your arms out beside you like into a T position. And keep the knees just real gently, moving a little bit side to side, as far as you want to go. And then come back up with the knees. We're going to bring the knees into the chest, towards your chest. Flex your feet. And feel the outside edges of your big toe mounds pressing towards each other. And when you exhale, let your knees come over to the left. Now, it might be just a little bit. Some of you might want to go all the way down towards the floor. And then on your next inhale, bring the knees back into center. Keep pressing the outside edges of your big toes together. And then as you exhale, go to the right. So you're going to do this at your own speed, right? Some of you may actually want to lay your legs on the floor in the twist and stay there. And some of you may want to keep moving and let the knees just barely come where you get like to the outside of one hip and then the other, right? So you've got to, these twists are up to you. When they're double kneed like this, just be easy. And then finish off. Come on back. Bring your feet now onto the floor and let your arms come overhead now. Let the palms face up. That they can reach kind of towards the corners of your mat if that feels better. Which is, they can come up higher if you want, but try not to lift your shoulders and have your shoulders feel all tense. Now set your feet up like a bridge pose, press into your feet, and just rise up a little bit. And as you do, it's a different feeling, right, when your arms are here. Don't force it. You may just want to rise a little bit and come right back down. Or it may feel pretty good to rise yourself up and stay there, feeling the feet equal in the floor. Knees are reaching directly away from you. So finish off the one you're on. If you're not back down yet, let yourself come on back down. And we're going to get our straps. And we're going to undo our straps, and we're going to try to put both feet up in the air in our straps. Both feet in at the same time. Your knees can be bent. The legs can be as far away from you as you need. Let yourself just get easy in your shoulders. So how you're holding the strap. Try not to overly grip with your hands. If it feels better to wrap the strap around your hands a little bit to feel that weight of your arms do. But just be mindful. Let it feel really easy. We're going to slip our left foot out of the strap and slowly lower the left foot down towards the floor. Now you can bend the right knee. Once that left leg gets down, you can bend the right knee even more. Think about the right thigh coming a little towards the outside of your right rib cage. And then just mindfully start to come into a straighter leg. Now, if that means you need the leg to come farther away from you, do it, right? You're going to get an openness for your back of your leg no matter whether the knee has a little bend or not. Try to feel the weight of the arms. Let yourself release, shoulders down towards the ground. Feel the ball of that right foot gently pressing into the strap. Feel your left heel drawing down towards the ground and drawing back towards your sitting bone. And now put both ends of the strap into your right hand. We're going to open the leg out to the right. And it doesn't matter how far. You might go like 12 inches. You may decide to bring the leg way down towards the ground. So again, feel that left heel drawing onto the ground back towards you. And then come back up to the top with your legs. Switch hands. Left hand comes to get the straps. Stretch your right arm out beside you. Bring the leg across to the left. Maybe, again, it may be 6 or 8 inches, or it may be that you want to go way over towards a twist. That is totally up to you. So be really mindful. Don't force it. Go 2 inches if you want, right? You don't have to let that right hip come off the floor. You can just let yourself work more on the IT band of that right leg by going just a little ways. One more breath. Now, as we come back up, we're going to put the left foot back up in the strap. So get your left foot back up there. Take your time. Even out a little bit there. You'll feel pretty lopsided probably. And then we're going to take the right foot out of the strap and slowly lower it down. Really feeling what happens to your back as it comes back into its natural curve. That low back comes back into a little bit of a curve. You're still using your belly a little bit. Bend your left knee and see if you can let yourself imagine that left thigh coming a little towards the outside of your rib cage. And then you can start again to come into that straighter leg, pressing into the strap with the ball of the foot, pressing into your right heel on the floor and drawing it back towards you. So again, it doesn't matter if the leg is way far away from you or if the knee is a little bent. You're still going to get what openness you need for the back of your leg, right? It doesn't necessarily need to look like anybody else's. So just enjoy feeling the breath, releasing your shoulders down towards the ground. And then we'll bring both ends of the strap into the left hand. We're going to open that leg out to the left, staying grounded in the right side. So keeping that right side, right butt cheek down there on the floor. And press into the ball of the foot still. And same thing that we did, this opening of the hip. The same thing we did lying on our side, right? Heel rotating up a little bit. We're going to bring the leg back up to the top. We're going to switch hands and bring the left hand to get the strap, right hand, sorry, to get the strap, and then bring the leg over to the right. And again, maybe just 2 inches. If you bring the leg barely over and then pull with your right hand on the strap a little bit and push back like you're trying to come back where you came from, it's a great IT band stretch. If you go further over into the twist, you're getting all kinds of things going on. So just enjoy where you can be. One more breath. And then we're going to come on back up to the top with the leg. Let's bring the right foot up back into the strap now. We got both feet up there again. And use your strap to help you. We're going to separate the feet wider towards a wide angle. Now, you may not want to go far. You may want to go 2 or 3 feet. You may want to go all the way to the ends of your strap. And, these are 8-foot straps. I don't know what you have at home, but see if you can just enjoy. You're supporting by holding on to the strap how wide your legs go. Now, if you want a little more, you can imagine you're drawing the strap towards you, but send your sitting bones down towards the ground and your tailbone, which might give you a little bit more going on in your inner thighs and in your hamstrings. You don't have to do that. You can just be there, hang out, and use that support of the strap to help you release into your legs and your hips. Good. One more breath. And now we're going to take the strap off. So you can bring yourself on down, leave the strap beside you, bring your knees on into your chest, and roll around a little bit side to side. Let that release happen. You can have the knees down if you want. You can put your feet on the floor and let the knees go side to side instead. Or make circles with your knees. And then just stretch your legs on up in the air for a second just to enjoy circling through your feet and your ankles. And allow the body to move however it needs to right now. Is there something else you need to do? Do you need to do another little bit of a twist? Do you need another little bit of a hip opener? Do you want to bring yourself into Shavasana now? That's fine. So if you want to bring your feet together, you want to do a little happy baby, if you feel like coming into any other kind of a twist or anything else. It doesn't have to be a yoga pose. Take your time. Same thing for you all at home. We'll start to get some lights here, which will help us start to settle down a little bit. And I will then be on the prowl for who wants a bolster. So I will look for hands here in the studio if a bolster sounds like a good idea. Gotcha. I will bring a bolster. Welcome. Yes. So I'm still on the lookout here at the studio. If you're at home, let yourself get comfortable. Any support you need, anything that's going to help you be more comfortable, and that can be blankets, pillows. And just start to feel now if you're comfortable or not. If you need to adjust your arms or your legs to get more comfortable for your shoulders or your hips, do. Remember, if you feel like your chin is rising up a little bit when you lie on your back, put a blanket underneath it, your head, so that you feel a little pillow, a little release at the back of your neck. And if you're really uncomfortable on your back, don't be there. You can lie on your side. You can lie with legs up the wall, too, if that feels good. But just start to enjoy watching the wave of your own breath coming in, going out. And it's just like if you've ever watched the waves of water at the ocean or lake. You don't control the length of those waves. You don't control them at all. See if you can feel that same way about your breath. Accepting the breaths in and out. If they need to change, just let it naturally happen. And your mind, if you just keep focusing and refocusing back to your breath, will become a little quieter. So give yourself the gift. It's like a little mini vacation here right now. The gift of these few minutes, allowing yourself to completely and fully relax. very easily now. Start to feel yourself there on the ground, supported again. Allowing your breaths to gradually deepen and lengthen. Imagine those deeper breaths bring you back into wanting to move. Fingers and toes, when you're ready, leading you. Your hands, your feet. You may even want to circle through your wrists, your ankles a little bit. And move up into your arms, your legs when you're ready. Moving how feels good, whether it's stretching or bending. Take your time to let yourself naturally come back. And you know you're welcome to stay there on your back longer or to roll onto either your right or your left side. If that's comfortable for you, you can stay on your side and give the body and the brain a little adjustment time there. Just be really easy when you feel ready to make your way up to sitting. Let it feel good to start to get up again, to sit comfortably and to feel your head then start to rise up, to be up on top of your spine, feeling that lightness in your head if you can. Just let your eyes close and appreciate the lightness in your body, really. Sense of release in your shoulders and your hips, space in your spine. And on your next exhale, let your hands come gently to meet there in front of your heart. Wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Labor Day.